Thanks for tuning in to Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Audrey Williams. In our show today, we look at how government is making water more accessible to farming communities. And later, useful tips for teachers from the 2018 winner of the National Mathematics Teacher of the Year competition. Stay right there. You don't want to miss a minute of today's show.
Wait, hold on. Colin,
Hey, what go on?
you know, say, I'm on my way to go look about the farm work program.
Aye, I love to do the farm work program there, you know. But remember, I did serve a 5-year prison sentence for a minor crime.
Them can clear it, you know.
Yes, Colin can get his record expunged. Expungement is having a conviction removed from your criminal record after certain specifications have been met. Visit the Criminal and Civil Justice Division in the Ministry of Justice for more information.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Friday, April 20. Prime Minister Andrew Holness is calling on Commonwealth countries to treat climate change funding, resilience, mitigation, and adaptation as an investment and not aid.
It is imperative that the conversation around climate change and how it is to be financed be treated as an investment. That we make the investment in the resilience of these countries who are affected so that they can withstand, live through, and recover quickly from these variable and extreme weather events.
Asserting that climate change is also an economic issue, Mr. Holness is reiterating his call for the international community to create a new system of classification and development assistance for countries.
A new system at looking at graduation, because countries who are classified as middle-income countries can no longer get access to beneficial terms for development assistance. But overnight, their GDP could be wiped out.
The Prime Minister was speaking Tuesday as a panelist in a joint forum at the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in London. Mr. Holness also used his address to speak about migration, young people, sport, obesity, and non-communicable diseases. As part of activities to mark the meeting of the Commonwealth leaders, the Prime Minister attended a retreat at Windsor Castle and a state dinner hosted by Queen Elizabeth II at Buckingham Palace. By December of this year, residents of St. Catherine will benefit from a new drug-serve pharmacy at the Linstead Hospital. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton broke ground on Thursday for the $31 million facility, which is being financed by the National Health Fund, NHF. He says the new drug-serve pharmacy will include more space for the staff to deliver improved services.
Pharmacy services here are important to the community to support the hospital services, the clinical services. My information is that last year you saw some 30,000 visits to this facility. And in terms of prescriptions written, some 50,000+ prescriptions have been written. So there is no doubt about the value of the infrastructure to the community in terms of providing service.
In February, the government also opened the expanded Accident and Emergency Department at Linstead Hospital, which was constructed at a cost of $144 million and also funded by the NHF. Students pursuing the Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examination, CAPE, will have an opportunity to earn credits that will be tenable at local universities. Education Minister Senator Ruel Reid says as of September, he will be working with the local Caribbean Examinations Council, CXC office in Jamaica to make this a reality.
You have a whole suite of subjects around your CAPE program, which will be equivalent to 60 college credits, 60 university credits, so that when you complete sixth form, you go into university with 60 credits, which means many of you will end up completing your first degree in a much shorter time, and you also reduce the cost of your university education.
Meanwhile, Senator Reid says his ministry and the University of the West Indies, Mona, will be collaborating to support teaching science, technology, engineering, and math subjects to students on the Program of Advancement through Health and Education, PATH. A memorandum of understanding will be signed shortly. The minister was addressing St. Mary High students during a visit to the school on Wednesday. Residents of St. Tullies and Alvey in South Manchester are now benefiting from 1,400 meters of repaired farm roads. The Rural Agricultural Development Authority, RADA, started the project earlier this year, spending $12 million. They are among 52 farm roads that were completed during the last financial year. Minister without portfolio in the Agriculture Ministry, J.C. Hutchinson, says the new roadways will allow farmers to be more productive.
It is one where we also have irrigation, and so we wanted to make sure that the farmers in this area had transport going where they could be able to get out their produce at a reasonable cost. What was happening is that they were having difficulty in getting it out, and the cost of getting out their produce was extremely high.
And finally, Sport Minister Olivia Grange has announced a prize of $325,000 for the top 3 schools in the Institute of Sports in Sports 2018 All-Age and Junior High Athletics Championships. The winning school will receive $150,000 with $100,000 for second place and $75,000 for third place. This is in addition to the $50,000 for each of the 10 participating schools to assist with their expenses for the meet. The In Sports 2018 All-Age and Junior High Athletics Championships will take place next Wednesday and Thursday at the National Stadium. This is the 40th and last staging of the competition as a result of the phasing out of all-age and junior high schools in Jamaica by the Education Ministry. The championships will be incorporated into the existing Primary School Athletics Championships.
This competition, which was created to include the junior high schools, will no longer be needed. What we are going to focus now is on the biggest and best primary school championship that Jamaica will host.
More than 700 athletes from 10 junior high schools across the island will be participating in 52 events during the 2 days of the athletic competition. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Prime Minister commits to continued growth post the IMF, fighting corruption, and deepening ties with Chile through an air service agreement. You're watching Jamaica House Weekly. I'm Anthony Morgan. Prime Minister Andrew Holness is currently in London, England, representing Jamaica's interests at the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting. The summit, which starts today, ends on Friday. During the Prime Minister's working visit, he will meet with Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Charles of Wales. He will also have bilateral talks with his counterparts from Britain and Mauritius. Prime Minister Holness is expected to meet with the Jamaican diaspora in England, as well as current and prospective investors. England is the last leg of Mr. Holness's week-long working visit to Latin America and Europe. On Friday, the Prime Minister addressed the 3rd CEO Summit of the 8th Summit of the Americas in Lima, Peru. At the summit's plenary session Saturday, the Prime Minister committed his government to tackling corruption with the help of the international community. A call was also made for greater engagement of at-risk, unattached youth to stem crime and violence. And Mr. Holness used his summit address to condemn the killing of journalists in Ecuador, calling it a threat to democracy and the fight against the corruption. During his visit to Peru, the Prime Minister held talks with his Peruvian counterpart. He also met with US Vice President Mike Pence and Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. And while at the summit, Prime Minister Holness moved Jamaica a step closer to inking an air services agreement with Chile. During bilateral talks with his Chilean counterpart, Mr. Holness pledged to build on the Memorandum of Understanding signed by the countries in August 2017. Peru was the Prime Minister's first stop on a week-long working visit. By Sunday, Mr. Holness was in Brussels, Belgium for meetings which included talks with the head of the European Council, Donald Tusk. Prime Minister Holness also met with the Secretary General of the African, Caribbean and Pacific Group of States, Dr. Patrick Gomez. And the Jamaican diaspora in Belgium and France, as well as business interests in those countries, were engaged. Back in Jamaica, Acting Prime Minister Dr. Horace Chang attended a church service to mark the Urban Development Corporation's 50th anniversary.
Today we recognize UDC for its immeasurable contribution to Jamaica's landscape. As we celebrate past achievements, we're even more enthused about UDC's role as a catalyst for growth for the next 50 years.
This year's celebration is being held under the theme, The Golden Glow, Growth, Love, Opportunities, Wealth.
We acknowledge her as a freedom fighter, and we are all sympathetic to her struggle and the struggle for the liberation of South Africa and the end of the apartheid era in that country.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness paying tribute to Winnie Mandela during last Tuesday's sitting of Parliament. Mandela died on April 2 at age 81. The day before, Mr. Holness received a visit from CEO of Special Olympics International, Mary Davis. Joined by Sport Minister Olivia Grange, Mr. Holness reaffirmed the government's commitment towards developing its Special Olympics program. And that's it for Jamaica House Weekly. Join us next time for more of the news stories coming out of the office of the Prime Minister.
Water is life. We hear this adage time and time again. It's proven that water is not just important for us as human beings, but also for our animals and plants. As we continue to observe Farmers' Month, we take a look at the government's Adaptation Fund program, which seeks to make this essential commodity more accessible to farming communities.
Farmers, the lifeline of the food chain. Water, the precious resource that helps to grow the food we love. Put them together and we get an agriculture sector that will produce on a consistent and sustainable level. So the Ministry of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries is continuously implementing projects to connect farmers with water through initiatives like the Government of Jamaica Adaptation Fund program. The agriculture component of the GOJ Adaptation Fund program is to build farmers' resilience against climate change. With over $250 million Jamaican dollars in funding, farmers in vulnerable communities are being trained in best practice methods such as land husbandry and equipped for rainwater harvesting and improved irrigation infrastructure. Beneficiaries are small farmers in the parishes of Trelawney, St. Mary, Manchester, St. Catherine, St. Thomas, St. Anne and Clarendon. We journeyed into the hills of Low River in southern Trelawney to look at the work being done to harvest and distribute water to the predominantly yam farming community.
The Low River Water Harvesting and Irrigation Scheme is just under $2 million. One of the systems that has been most far-reaching, the fact is that to date we have just about 70 householders that have been connected to the system, and that is directly impacting about 350 community members. This system comprises of an entombment. What we have done, we have improved the entombment. We have built a wall across this area here, about 5 to 6 feet in depth and about 12 feet across. And that has improved the water storage capacity significantly. It was about 9 feet prior to the intervention, and now the 6 feet that we have added brings it to about 14 feet in depth.
To increase the flow of the water from the hill, the 3-inch pipes which connected the system before were changed to 6-inch pipes.
And that is what accounts for the significant pressure that we observe down in the community.
Prior Prior to the improved water system, community members would have to come here and catch water for domestic use, while the farmers had to go to the river to catch water for irrigation purposes.
So you no longer have to go to the river to take up water?
Me not think so.
Because the water is at the farm.
The
pipe run, everything going in process, we don't have to go to the river. We don't have to pay the extra money for you to carry the water.
I think this water system would help us better now.
Presently, we have an approximately 470 farmers who benefit from the system. These farmers presently cultivate some 267 hectares of land. We're encouraging farmers to farm what we call climate smart agriculture. And this project certainly is a way to assist these farmers in order for them to produce all year round and in order for them to support, especially the import substitution program that the government is presently promoting.
By enhancing the water system, the Government of Jamaica Adaptation Fund program was able to not only increase the flow of water, but also ran pipes along the main, and the residents took it a step further.
They have gone ahead and invested in pipes, in black tanks, to take the water from our distribution line into their household. So this is a real partnership between the community and the project. Many of the farmers have testified that they are able to go back into production, expand their production, and quite a number of householders are now living more comfortable in terms of having access, increased access to water, both for irrigation as well as domestic purposes. The greenhouse that was out of operation because of the lack of water, preparation is being made as we speak to recommission that greenhouse into production. Transportation comes as far as from St. Anne, Clarendon, Manchester to collect water, to carry back to those communities to service farmers as well as community householders or domestic as well as irrigation use.
The next phase of the Low River Water Project is to connect the farmers with on-farm irrigation systems.
Some marina, you know. Yeah?
Yeah, man, I have the package 60,000.
60,000?
Yeah.
How much I want?
Yeah, man, 2 bays I want.
Yeah, man, no one else.
$5,000.
Yeah, man. Alright,
what one, cat?
You don't know, I sit downtown the other day there. Oh. All the brethren, them man, we buy and sell marina. One of them I sell a 6-pack for $1,000, and the next one I sell one for $200.
So where you buy?
Buy 5 of them for $1,000. Think them can't rob me.
So Uncle Fancy, is the same $1,000 you would spend to get the 6? Seriously?
Tell them again, yeah, my math brains.
Math count.
Math count.
Sponsored by the Ministry of Education.
As you may be aware, National Mathematics Week 2018 ends today. The annual observance was created by the Ministry of Education to highlight fun and engaging ways to learn mathematics. It also aims to reward math teachers who are going above and beyond to teach the oftentimes dreaded subject. Watch now as the 2018 winner of the National Mathematics Teacher of the Year competition shares how she does just that.
Oh, wow. That moment when I won. It's a coveted award to be known as the Mathematics Teacher of the Year, something that no one can take lightly. And it has helped me to grow as a teacher. And it has also helped me to become a resource person for my school, in that having the knowledge that I have gained from this competition, I'm now better able to coach or to assist the other teachers in my school and hopefully in the region one day.
Stacey Taylor made Hatfield Primary and Junior High School proud when she accepted the 2018 National Mathematics Teacher of the Year Award. The dedicated educator came by one of our think tank sessions recently and shared how she was able to cop this coveted award.
My philosophy as it relates to teaching mathematics is that it's not just about a body of knowledge, but it's more so about the process. So for me, I have my students discovering what I want them to learn. So no longer am I just telling them, but they are discovering. Also, I take into consideration that every child learns differently. So at the initial stages, I needed to find out how my children learn and so forth, cater to their differences in learning. So one of the main strategies that I would have been using is what we call differentiated instruction. That is where you cater to the learning styles of the different students along with using manipulatives. So manipulatives is really just hands-on things that they can use to build their own understanding of a particular concept.
Now Stacy, who has over 18 years of teaching experience, is looking forward to an all-expense-paid trip to the 2018 National Council of Teachers of Mathematics Conference. The April 26 event in Washington, D.C. is part of her prize package.
I hope that it will bolster my ability to teach mathematics. It will help me to come back now and to share what I have learned. And the most important thing I want to learn is how can I be a better teacher so that I can better my students' performance.
And what is her appeal to other math teachers in Jamaica?
We need to always aim at having the students form their own understanding of the concepts. So we need to move away from lecturing the children. We need to move away from simply telling them the formulas. Let them discover it for themselves, because once they discover it for themselves, it will never leave them. Continue to let the students discover. Let them have fun. Keep them engaged, and we will see a change in performance.
The Ministry of Education, Youth and Information is committed to ensuring that every Jamaican child has the best learning environment to thrive and needs your cooperation to make the education system work successfully.
What are the school's voluntary contributions for?
Co-curricular and sports activities and school development.
What amount are parents to contribute?
Your contributions are voluntary and the amount depends on the type of programs being offered by the school.
If my child is being denied access to school, can I complain to the ministry?
Yes. You can call or visit any of the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information's 6 regional offices or send an email to complaints@moey.gov.jm.
What support is there for PATH students?
PATH students are not expected to make contributions and are to be provided with 5 days free lunch as of this year.
Parents and guardians, do continue to make your voluntary financial contributions to your children's school. The institutions need your assistance for their school development and sporting activities. Remember, every child can learn. Every child must learn.
Our children are our future. They will one day replace us in our careers and will soon grow up to make their own positive mark in this world. Some of them have already started to do so in their own little way. The JIS team recently caught up with one such young lady who is using her voice in a positive way. Have a look.
Not very often we get a chance to meet junior broadcasters like yourself or a junior broadcaster like yourself. And so it gives me great pleasure and quite an honor to sit and talk with you today. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
My life in broadcasting actually started at Montego Primary School, where the former principal, Mrs. Candalee Crooksmith, identified that I had a passion in speaking. And in speaking, I mean, I was very talkative in class, and she wanted me to learn how to use my voice in a positive way. So that's where I found the Kids Hub Media Network, a non-profit organization where we seek to give kids, tweens, and teens an opportunity to share their voice. And I became a part of that organization, and my life in broadcasting just took full speed there from there.
So when you were given that opportunity, how did that make you feel?
I felt amazing because now learning how to use my voice in a positive way, I am better able to interact with others, I have better communication skills, and I just find myself being a better individual.
Do you believe that you found your passion?
Yes, I have found one of my passions.
One of the passions.
Of journalism. Yes. But I just love being on camera and having a mic and letting my voice be heard. And what I love about journalism is that it helps you to be a current and well-rounded individual.
Your opportunity which you were given to be a part of the President Obama visit to Jamaica, what are some of the other issues that you're able to deal with as a junior broadcaster?
I'll mainly focus on the confidence that the young boys and girls may have in themselves. Bullying, we recently spoke about bullying in schools and how that affects others, and just how to be the best you in all that you can do.
And how are you able to strike a balance between, obviously you're doing well academically here at St. Hugh's and being a junior broadcaster, how are you able to strike the balance between both?
I'm doing my best at the time management because it's not an easy concept to grasp for me, but I am still trying. And it's just a blessing, I guess, when some people ask me how do I manage this and multi-talents, and I just organize myself well and try to cover a lot in the time I'm given.
And so you live in a single parent household, but aren't mothers amazing to provide the nurture and the care and the love and the kind of motivation? But there's something else. What is that other little thing that keeps you motivated outside of your mother's encouraging words?
I would have to say, I would have to give it all to God, that He keeps me going, because many times you're gonna feel demotivated and that you can't go on, but then you just remember where you're coming from and where you are now, and you actually feel proud of yourself, not overconfident, yes, but in that essence to say you are thankful and that you can't wait to see where you are to go in the future. So I would have to give it all to God.
What is the one lesson that you've learned having been a junior broadcaster? And how has that one lesson, changed your life or impact your life in a particular way?
I have learned to accept failure, and it wasn't an easy process. Failure is not anything that anybody would be comfortable with, but it's something that goes hand in hand with success, and that's what I've learned over time being a junior broadcaster. It has just been helping me in my growth as a junior broadcaster, and just how to handle criticism, and to just, you don't take it negatively but turn it into a positive way in order to bloom you and to just allow you to become the individual that you should be.
What's the one message you would like young boys and young girls who are watching this program to walk away with?
To try. So that's what I would want them to walk away with. Never give up on your dreams and always aspire to be the best you that you can be, and to just aspire to achieve greatness and always put God first.
And so I want to take this opportunity to say thank you so much. And it really was a pleasure talking with you and to you. And from one broadcaster to the next, I'd like to just encourage you to continue to do what you're doing with great passion. And if you want to become successful, more successful and great in the business, then that inner passion must always be like a candle burning, never out. The flame is constantly burning. That when you think about all the things that you want to accomplish, you feel so good inside, and you're filled with so much joy. When you have that kind of passion, there's longevity. So I wish you all the very best, and thank you so much for talking to us.
And that's how we close Jamaica Magazine for today. Join us tomorrow right here on this very station for more informative pages. We're also available online at jis.gov.jm and on all the popular social media platforms. Feel free also to send us your personal thoughts by emailing us at jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm. On behalf of the entire team here at the JIS, I'm Audrey Williams. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.